Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, smash the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button, share the video as always, guys. Guys, I've got some before I get into boxing. Obviously, there's some sad news that broke today that the Queen, obviously I'm somebody that lives in England, lives in the UK, and our Queen has passed away, which is very, very sad news. It kind of feels almost surreal because ever since I was alive, I mean, the Queen was, you know, the Queen was our like a figurehead, and one of the most famous people in the world. I mean, her presence, and she did a lot of good work, and yeah, it kind of feels surreal that she's gone. Like, when you have a figurehead like that, you feel like they're almost, I wouldn't say invincible, but they're forever lasting, and that's never the case. I think that's just another example that everybody is on this planet and eventually will go. And sad news, really sad news. I was I was you know what, this I was actually at work this afternoon, and obviously one of my colleagues actually said that she had the radio on. Normally she doesn't really have the radio on, and she's like, "Oh, I got the radio on because apparently there's concerns about the health of the Queen." And then obviously I started looking into it myself, and when I started looking into it, there was actually stuff saying that that she is actually pretty ill, and there's her family is rushing to get to her side. So I kind of realized, okay, this seems quite serious. But yeah, yeah, it's just sad news, sad news. I thought I'd share it with you. I'm pretty sure all of you are probably aware of this. But yeah, let's get into talk a bit about boxing, talk about something that we enjoy. The world is full of sad newses, and let's talk about something positive. And I actually think the news that I've just shared with you guys, which you guys are already aware of, I'm sure, it may affect the fight that I'm actually going to talk about. I actually think that Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields, I'm going to do a prediction video on it. I actually think there are actually rumors now that the fight might not go on. There's nothing confirmed, but there are rumors that there's a possibility that the fight, I know the test match, which was supposed to be played today, I think it didn't get played because it was rain. The cricket match is not going to happen tomorrow now, here in the UK. So I wouldn't be surprised if the boxing gets postponed. But anyway, we'll talk about it as if it will go through. I actually think this is a cracking fight. This is the first time I've been excited for a female fight. I know people were talking about Katie Taylor Serrano. I thought that was a great fight, and it lived up to the expectations, but I wasn't really that excited for that fight like I am with this. And not just the main event. I'm also very excited about the co-main. I think Bam Gardner and Michaela Mayer is actually a great fight as well. I'm excited for those two fights. I mean, I am really looking forward to those two fighting. I really am. I think it's going to be cracking. But talking about the main event, Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. Now these two have got some serious beef. I mean, they've been going back and forth at one another, and Clarissa has been hyping herself up. And look, when you hype yourself and you talk such a big game, you've got to back it up in the ring. You've got to go out there and perform. Otherwise, you can make yourself look like a complete idiot. And she's been talking a lot. She's been saying this, that, and the other, and she's got to go in there and back it up. I think Savannah Marshall is obviously the bigger girl. She's a big puncher. She's very confident. She isn't as loud and brash as Shields. Generally, the Americans generally are louder than the British fighters. They generally are more confident, or come across a lot more confident. Some of the British fans have been pretty disrespectful, especially on social media. Maybe not face to face, but on social media, I've seen some really disrespectful comments to Shields. And I can understand why, a lot of the British fans, they want to see Savannah Marshall beat Clarissa Shields. I think it was the same when Ricky Hatton fought Floyd Mayweather. Some British fans keep bringing up Wilder and Fury and keep saying, and this really irritates me, that they keep bringing up Wilder and Fury and say, oh, like Shields is like Wilder. Have they forgot how many times that American fighters have beaten British fighters? I think British fans have, some British boxing fans suffer from, memory loss, because I don't think they realize how many American fighters, generally the American top fighters, beat our British fighters. But I think we seem to forget that. I think we seem to forget those times. There's many times where, Ali beat Henry Cooper, Richard Dunn. I mean, Floyd Mayweather beat Ricky Hatton. I mean, their best fighters generally beat our best fighters. I mean, that's just how it's been throughout the years. When you look at their head-to-head, I bet you the Americans have generally beaten our fighters. So some of the British fans that seem to be very delusional online. But in this fight, I actually think it's a good fight. I actually think it's a fight that could go either way. I think Shields is a good fighter, but I do think Marshall has got some serious power. I do think Shields, I do favor Shields. I think Shields is the more accomplished out of the two. I think Shields is a good mover, good boxer. She's fast. But you know what? A lot of people keep calling her pillow fist and say she can't punch. And she made a good point that from a very, very early stage in her career, she's been fighting champions. And when you fight champions, it's a lot harder to knock them out. Now, I will say this. I do think female boxing, there's not a lot of depth. So sometimes a lot of the champions are poor. So even though Shields might have been fighting the champions, how good were those champions? I mean, Savannah Marshall is a legitimate threat to her. Savannah Marshall could win that fight. It's a 50-50 for me. Because like I said, I think Savannah Marshall has serious power. And she's a stalker. She's a better boxer than, she gets credit for. I actually think it's a very, very good fight. I do favor Shields on points because I do feel at the elite level, it's very hard to knock somebody out. And I do favor Shields may outwork Savannah Marshall, because Marshall is pretty slow. She's pretty flat-footed as well. And Shields is fast. But Shields at time can get very excited with her work. And if she stands there and for any length of time, I think Savannah could hit her with something huge, and that could change the whole complexion of the fight. Now, I generally tend to go with a boxer. I generally tend to go with the fighter that's more accomplished, and that's definitely Shields in this situation. Shields is definitely the more accomplished out of the two, but Savannah is much bigger, and she's a big puncher. So I think time will tell. I think time will tell what happens on Saturday. But yeah, I'm looking forward to whether Savannah can land something huge. Or who knows, maybe she shocks most people and outboxes her. Who knows? People keep going back talking about the fight that, she had with Clarissa when they were 17 as amateurs. That was a long time ago. Clarissa probably wasn't as developed as she is now. Clarissa's had a lot of success since then. She's won 2 Olympic gold medals. She's been undisputed in 2 weight classes. And I swear this is a 3rd weight class she's trying to conquer. I mean, it's phenomenal. The achievements are phenomenal. I will say, though, that the depth in women's boxing isn't great. So yeah, she's obviously a phenomenal talent in women's boxing. She calls herself the GOAT. But when you give yourself the title, the GOAT, and you say this, that, and the other, you've got to back it up inside the ring, because this is the biggest stage Clarissa Shields has ever been on. And if she gets beat, then that's all you're going to be remembered for. Because again, women's boxing, it's not like it's a Floyd Mayweather situation where Floyd Mayweather achieved so much and he got beat by the end of his career. No, this is somebody that hasn't really had the big stages. Although she might be very accomplished, this is probably the biggest stage she's ever been on. So she needs to win this fight to get the respect, because that's what Mayweather did. If Mayweather had lost to Ricky Hatton, imagine what the British fans would have said about Mayweather. I mean, but Mayweather was just too good. He was just so much better than Hatton. Hatton had no chance, against Floyd Mayweather. But again, is Shields Mayweather, or is Shields, not the truth. I mean, is Shields, because if she's the truth, she should beat Savannah Marshall. If she's not, Savannah Marshall might be the truth. Savannah Marshall might be the better girl. I think it's a very intriguing fight. I'm very excited for it because I actually think it's a fight that I think it's a fight that could go either way. I genuinely think it's a fight that could go either way. I'm not confident either way because I'm not so sure about Shields. Although I think she's a great boxer, I do think at times she gets excited and she's been dropped before. But like I said, the reason why I favor her slightly is because I think at the elite level, it's very hard to knock top boxers out. And that's why I think she'll win the fight on points, because I think she'll outwork her. I think Savannah's a little slower, and I think Shields might just outwork her. But I wouldn't be surprised if she gets chinned as well. It's a great fight, a great matchup, great matchup. And I think the Baumgardner Michaela Mayer fight that's a great fight as well. You know, I think someone in that fight, I think Michaela Mayer is the better boxer, but I think Alicia Baumgardner really cracks, and I won't be surprised if she wipes out Michaela Mayer, but Michaela might outbox her. So again, it's very intriguing. Both those fights are very intriguing, very exciting. But if I'm gonna pick who I'm gonna go for, I'm gonna pick Michaela Mayer to beat Alicia Baumgardner. I think she outboxes her, and I'm gonna pick Clarissa Shields to outbox Savannah Marshall. Now I might be wrong the either way. If you see, I've picked the two boxers to beat the two punchers, but I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if my predictions are wrong and the other two win. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to know your opinion. And smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.